On my wedding day, my college girlfriend and her best guy friend decided to take off on a spontaneous road trip, leaving me and my family completely humiliated. 2 years later, she came back to our hometown heartbroken and tried to patch things up with me. I just flashed the wedding ring on my hand and gave her my biggest, happiest smile. Sorry, I said. I'm married. Dying of fire, you creep. Stop trying to ruin things for decent women. A splash of lukewarm coffee hit my face. My 99th blind date had just officially gone up in flames. My name is Leo Carter. I'm the youngest attending cardiologist at St. Mark's University Hospital, one of the best in Chicago. I'm 6 feet tall, in great shape. People say I'm handsome. I'm healthy, and I come from a good family. I'm a good guy, but for some reason, my dating life has been a relentless string of failures. It's not because there's something wrong with me. It's because I have a drama queen for an ex-girlfriend. Just moments before the coffee incident, my date and I were having a great conversation. Then, out of nowhere, my ex-Victoria appeared. She summoned a performance worthy of an Oscar, standing before our table with silent tears streaming down her face. The very picture of a woman betrayed by the one person she trusted most. Leo, who is this? My date asked, her voice cautious. I'm so sorry. This is my ex-girlfriend. We broke up before I could finish Victoria Kitten. Ex-girlfriend. You're calling me your ex-girlfriend? Weren't you just holding me yesterday? Calling me your baby? Didn't you just promise me this morning that you'd build a future for me and our child? What are you talking about? We broke up 2 years ago. We have nothing to do with each other, I said, trying desperately to explain to my date, hoping she wouldn't believe this nonsense. So, you wanted to break up with me 2 years ago? Victoria's voice was filled with manufactured heartbreak. We were lab partners in high school, and we started dating the day we graduated. I gave you the best years of my life, and this is how you treat me. Her acting was so convincing that my date was completely captivated. Her eyes now filled with suspicion as she looked at me. If you wanted to break up, why? Didn't you just say so? You kept stringing me along while you were secretly going on dates behind my back. You're not a man. You're a monster, ma'am, she said, turning to my date. Please don't be fooled by him. If he can betray me, he'll betray you. You have to open your eyes. Victoria's words tumbled out in a rapid-fire monologue, leaving me no room to speak. I could only watch, horrified as she twisted reality. I stumbled over my words, tried to defend myself. That's not true. I didn't. My only answer was a face full of coffee. My date stormed off. I slumped into my chair, staring coldly at Victoria. She slid into the seat across from me with a smug, triumphant look on her face, raising an eyebrow. Leo, just give it up, she said mockingly. I'm the only one in the world who truly loves you. Just forgive me for being young and foolish back then. Let's get back together. She leaned in, trying to take my arm, but I yanked it away like her touch was poison. I found her repulsive. It felt like Victoria had superpowers. Every single time I had a date, she would materialize out of thin air. With date number 38, she showed up and pretended to slit her wrists, scaring the poor girl into tears. With number 55, she described the birth arc on my, but in vivid detail, making my date blush so hard she couldn't look up. With number 78, she recounted our entire 10-year history together, which actually moved the woman so much that she grabbed both our hands and said earnestly, "You two psychos deserve each other. Please get married so you don't inflict yourselves on anyone else." If Lise could kill, I would have murdered Victoria 1,000,000 times over. But they can't, so all I could do is glare. I could easily overpower her, but I was raised to never ever lay a hand on a woman, and arguing with her was a lost cause. I couldn't even get a sentence out before she launched into a filibuster about everything from the Founding Fathers to the latest political drama. To put it simply, I despised her with every fiber of my being, but she was shameless, relentlessly trying to get back with me. I'd have to be insane to ever forgive her. I will never forget the wedding. Without a bride 2 years ago, Victoria was my first love. We'd known each other since high school. It was one of those innocent teenage things that just sort of happened. We got closer and closer, and we officially started dating after graduation. We stayed together through college and into our professional lives. We had our arguments, of course, but I never once doubted my love for her. On our 10th anniversary, I got down on one knee. "Marry me," I said, my voice thick with emotion. "I promise I'll make you the happiest woman in the world." She hesitated for a beat, glancing over at her guy friend Julian. Only after he gave a subtle nod did she accept the ring. The warning signs were all there, but I was so caught up in the fantasy of it all that I couldn't see them. On our wedding day, my parents had invited everyone, all our friends, family, and colleagues. They wanted everyone to witness my happiness. Instead, they all witnessed my downfall. Victoria left me a single text message and then vanished, taking the substantial down payment my parents had given us for a house and running off with Julian. She didn't even have the courage to say goodbye to my face. Her text read, "Leo, the world is so big. I want to see it. I'm still young. I don't want to be trapped in the prison of marriage." She called our marriage a prison. What did that make our 10 years of love? If she didn't want to get married, she could have just said no, but to agree and then to run on our wedding day. How are my parents supposed to face their friends and family? They were respected people in our community. I walked over to my parents, my heart heavy with guilt. I wanted to apologize, but before I could speak, my dad squeezed my shoulder hard. "This is not your fault, son," he said firmly. "A man stands tall no matter what. Our guests are here. We have to face them and give them an explanation." My mom straightened my tie and patted my chest. "Let's go," she said softly. The three of us walked onto the stage, a wave of confused murmurs rippling through the ballroom. Below us were our relatives, our colleagues, my parents' lifelong friends, and their business partners. Their probing stares made the guilt in my chest feel even heavier. I took a deep breath and spoke into the microphone. "To all our friends and family, I am so sorry to have kept you waiting. Due to some unforeseen circumstances, today's wedding has been postponed." The room erupted in whispers. I know many of you took time out of your busy lives to be here today to share in our happiness. I know some of you traveled a long way just to be here for me. I am so sorry to have let you all down. I bowed deeply, my voice cracking. I couldn't cry. I wouldn't. All of your gifts will be returned to you, but I know that's not enough to make up for this. No matter what, please stay and enjoy the dinner we've prepared. Think of it as a small apology for me. After that, my parents and I went from table to table offering a personal, heartfelt apology to every single guest. Victoria's family, who had quickly learned what happened, had already slipped out in shame. When our own relatives asked my parents what was going on, my parents said nothing. The truth would come out eventually. There's no need for us, the victims, to be the ones to tell it. Victoria's disappearing act dragged my family's name through the mud. When we finally got home from the hotel, I locked myself in my room, unable to face anyone. My heart felt like it had been plunged into ice water. The pain so sharp it was hard to breathe. I spent my days drinking, trying to numb the raw reality of my life. Then one day, I heard my mother's soft, suppressed cough in the other room. I realized she had been sick for a while, but I had been too wrapped up in my own misery to notice. I had failed as a son. It was just a breakup. It wasn't the end of the world. What was I doing wallowing in self-pity? "Mom, Dad," I said, emerging from my room, "I promise you, I will find a woman 100 times better than her." And with that, I started going on blind dates. I never expected Victoria to come back, but she did. And the first thing she did was show up at my parents' house crying hysterically. "I'm so sorry. I was wrong, Leo. Please forgive me," she sobbed. "I always had a hard time when..." She cried. It was my weak spot. And just like always, I felt my resolve begin to soften. But then I saw the look on my parents' faces, disapproving yet afraid to say anything. A sharp pain shot through my chest. Some mistakes can't be forgiven. Her running away didn't just hurt me, it hurt them. "You should go," I said, my voice cold. "I have a new girlfriend now." "You're lying. You're just saying that to get rid of me." "I'm not lying. I've been going on dates. Fine, she hissed her, tears vanishing instantly. You go on a date, I'll crash it. You belong to me, Leo. You can't marry anyone but me. She was just as controlling as ever. She could do whatever she wanted, but I had to remain eternally faithful. I used to think it was because she loved me. Now I just found it suffocating. I had no idea just how destructive she could be. For nearly 2 years, she sabotaged 99 of my dates. I hated her for it, but I had no idea how to get this menace out of my life until I met Chloe. Look, I'm sorry, Chloe said, her tone frank and direct. My family is forcing me to do this whole dating thing, but my job is insane right now, and I really don't have time for a relationship. I was immediately struck by her honesty. After 2 years of Victoria's backstabbing and manipulation, Chloe's straightforwardness was incredibly refreshing. To make it up to you, dinner's on me, she offered with a playful smile. And after this, we can go our separate ways, strangers once more. Deal. Whenever I ate with Victoria, I paid for everything, including things. For her and Julian. Was I just her personal wallet? Chloe's offer to pay made me like her even more. No, I'm the guy I should pay, I insisted. It was really nice to meet you. What are you in a mood for? Let's not argue. We'll split it, she said decisively. And I'm craving some seriously spicy buffalo wings. The messier, the better. What a character. Victoria would never eat wings. She claimed they were undignified, but they were one of my favorite foods, a pleasure I'd only indulged in a handful of times during our 10-year relationship. One order of the hottest wings you've got. I called out to the waiter. Extra sloppy. Chloe's eyes lit up. A man of culture, I see. It felt like fate finding someone who shared my love for such a specific, unpretentious food. But just as I was marveling at our connection, I saw her. Victoria again. How did she always manage to find me? It was like a curse. Even though Chloe and I weren't going to be a thing, I didn't want Victoria to trash my reputation in front of her. I stood up quickly to intercept her, but she sidestepped me and marched right up to our table. She launched into her usual routine. Excuse me, she said to Chloe. I'm Leo's girlfriend. He's cheating on me with you. Please don't be deceived by him. Oh, Chloe looked at me with a curious eyebrow raised. Before I could say anything, Victoria continued. We've known each other for 12 years, been in love for 10. Just last night, he was holding me and calling me his baby. She had this speech so memorized, she didn't even bother changing the script. Is that so? Chloe replied, leaning back in her chair. Because I happen to know Dr. Carter was at the hospital all night. He pulled a double shift and saved 3 patients. He was so exhausted he could barely stand. So, I'm curious. When exactly did he slip out of the hospital to come hold you? You should tell me the details. I could report him for skipping out on his shift and collect a nice little reward. So please go on. Victoria froze. Chloe wasn't playing by the rules. She stammered, unable to come up with an answer. Chloe then turned her sharp gaze on me. Mr. Carter, this woman is accusing you of dereliction of duty and is publicly slandering your character. Would you like to press charges? I'm a lawyer. I'd be happy to represent you. Victoria's face turned bright red. For the first time, she was the one being cornered, and I was secretly loving it. Chloe Miller, you are my hero. It's just a lover's quarrel. Why would we need to get the courts involved? You're joking, right? Victoria tried to deflect. Mr. Carter, Chloe said, her voice firm. Are you two in relationship? No, I stated clearly. We broke up 2 years ago after she left me at the altar. Now she stalks me and ruins my dates. I then turned to Victoria. I don't get it. How do you always find me? Did you put a tracker on me or something? I was just venting, but the look of pure panic on Victoria's face told me everything. Her eyes darted around, and she mumbled an excuse, trying to leave. Don't go just yet, Chloe said, a glint in her eye. She pulled a small device out her purse. I happen to have a bug sweeper right here. If what Mr. Carter says is true, it's possible. You're being illegally monitored. Chloe was so cool and professional. In my mind, I was throwing roses at her feet. After confirming I hadn't changed cars in years, Chloe walked out to the parking lot with the device. She swept around my car, and within seconds, it let out a piercing shriek. Oh my God, I was actually being tracked. Victoria's face went pale. No wonder she always knew where I was. She had put a GPS tracker in my car. Well, from here on out, this is a police matter, Chloe said, returning to her seat as if nothing happened. The wings are probably getting cold. Mr. Carter, you can choose to file a police report. Based on state law, she'd be looking at a minimum a couple of weeks in jail for stalking. Leo. Victoria grabbed my sleeve, her eyes pleading. I shook her off and dialed 911. The police took Victoria away. It turned out she had installed the tracker years ago, back when we were still together. I just loved him so much, she explained to the officers. I was worried he'd go places he shouldn't, see people he shouldn't. I just forgot to take it out. Without my love-tinted glasses on, I saw the lie for what it was. She hadn't installed it to watch me. She'd installed it so she could meet up with Julian without getting caught. I had suspected something was going on between them back then, but every time I tried to catch them, they were never there. She would then turn it around on me, accusing me of not trusting her. It turned out she was just one step ahead. The whole time. Officer, we are broken up. I set my voice flat. Please proceed. As you see fit. I was tired of being disappointed. I didn't have another word to say to her. With the tracker removed, and Victoria facing 10 days in county jail, I felt an overwhelming sense of relief. The thought that I might finally be free of her was so exhilarating. I couldn't sleep. Chloe had helped me out in a huge way. How could I ever thank her? Would calling her be too forward? Would texting seem too casual? What was I supposed to do? As my mind raced, my phone rang. It was Chloe. Leo, code red. I need a huge favor. Chloe's voice was rushed and anxious. Hey, slow down. What's wrong? What could possibly rattle someone as cool and collected as her? My mom just gave me an ultimatum. I have to bring a boyfriend home for Thanksgiving, or she's going to break my leg, she said, her words practically tripping over each other. She's your mom. She's just trying to scare you, I said, trying to calm her down. My mom is a former national karate champion, Chloe replied. How many rounds do you think my legs would last against her? I had not anticipated such a formidable future mother-in-law. Wait, what future? Mother-in-law? We hadn't even gotten to a second date. So Thanksgiving is in 2 days. You don't have a boyfriend, in you? Want me to pretend to be him? Am I getting that right? I asked. You're a lifesaver, man. I owe you one. It's a date. I'll meet you outside my apartment building Thanksgiving morning. Before I could even respond, she hung up. Was she afraid I'd say no? She was actually kind of adorable. Thanksgiving morning, I showed up with my arms full of gifts. When she saw me, she groaned. It's just an act. You didn't have to bring all this. You got to commit to the role. I teased. What if we get found out? Your mom will break your leg, remember? She shot me a playful glare, taking the gifts from me and leading me toward her building. As we walked, I finally asked the question that had been bugging me. So, Chloe, why do you just happen to carry a bug sweeper in your purse? Why wouldn't a SWAT officer have a bug sweeper? She said casually. I thought you were a lawyer. When did you become SWAT? The friend who set us up had never mentioned her profession. I've always been a SWAT officer, she said. But every time I tell a guy that on a date, he runs for the hills. The matchmaker told me to just say something else. I just said lawyer on a whim. I can't believe you actually bought it. Oh my God. I thought she was just quick-witted. I had no idea she was also a total badass. I glanced at her arms and legs, noticing the powerful muscles beneath her clothes. I suddenly felt like I'd been had. You tricked me, I protested weakly. I only agreed to help because I thought your mom was going to break your legs. Keep complaining and I'll break them for her, she said, grabbing my earlobe gently and pretending to drag me inside. Look at you two already acting like an old married couple. A passing neighbor chuckled. Both of us turned bright red. That neighbor was a good man. I made a mental note to invite him to our wedding. A smile spread across my face. Chloe's mom had prepared a feast. 16 different dishes. In my hometown, the more dishes you make for a potential son-in-law, the more you approve of him. 16 was the absolute maximum a table could hold. I couldn't help but think of the 4 simple dishes served the first time I met Victoria's parents. The comparison was stark. Why was I even thinking about that disaster? As I was leaving, Chloe's mom tried to press a thick envelope of cash into my hand. I tried to refuse, but she grabbed my arm with a grip of steel. For a second, I thought I heard my bones creak. The envelope was shoved into my pocket along with what was left of my male pride. Note to self, future mother-in-law. I promised to never get into a fight with Chloe. The second I got home, I called her. Chloe code red. Don't worry, take a breath, she said, mimicking my earlier advice. My mom just told me I have to bring a girlfriend home for our 4th of July barbecue or she's going to break my legs. Is your mom a karate champion, too? No, but she did say she'd give my future wife a very, very generous wedding gift. I figured I'd keep that offer in the family, so to speak. Tell your mom that as long as I'm not on duty, I'll be there. Awesome. 5. On the 4th of July, I picked Chloe up and we drove to my parents' house. She had also brought a mountain of gifts, even more than I had brought for Thanksgiving. I thought of Victoria, who always showed up empty-handed. The difference was night and day. I was fumbling for my keys at the front door when it swung open. My mom stood there, her face beaming. You must be Chloe. You're even more beautiful in person. Hey, SWAT officer. How impressive. Come in. Come in. My mom took the gift from Chloe, dumped them into my arms, and then enthusiastically ushered Chloe inside, treating me like some kind of emotionless pack mule. So the matchmaker told me, your parents are both high-ranking civil servants. Is that right? Chloe handled my mom's questions with ease, completely charming her. A moment later, my dad's voice called from the kitchen. Dinner's ready. In our family, the men do the cooking and the women relax, my mom explained to Chloe, piling food onto her plate. When you and Leo get married, he'll do all the cooking. Your job is so demanding. You should be the one to pull more weight around the house. We weren't even married yet, and my mom was already delegating our future household chores. Seriously, whose side was she on? Where was my family loyalty? I just sat there grinning like an idiot and nodding. Even though I'd only seen Chloe a few times, I felt like I'd known her forever. Being with her was so easy, so comfortable. I could say whatever I wanted without walking on eggshells. Unlike with Victoria, where one wrong word could trigger a massive fight. Just then, the doorbell rang. That must be the matchmaker, my mom said cheerfully. Leo, go let her in. I owe her a big thank you for bringing me such a wonderful daughter-in-law. Seriously, my dad added, Chloe is 100 times better than that other one. My mom shot him a death glare on such a happy day. Why would you bring her up? Don't jinx it. Listening to my parents' banter, the gloom that had hung over our family for 2 years finally lifted. It had been so long since our house had been filled with this much joy. It was all thanks to Chloe. My mind was so full of her that I opened the door without even looking. What are you doing here? It was Victoria. Her 10 days in jail clearly hadn't taught her anything. Ignoring me, she pushed her way into the house, stormed over to the dining table, and slammed a stack of photos down. Mr. and Mrs. Carter, I know what I did was wrong, she began, her voice dripping with false sincerity. I shouldn't have run off like that. I know that now, but I can't let you be fooled by this woman. She's not a lawyer. She's a con artist who tricks men into marrying her for their money. Here's the proof. The photos showed Chloe in wedding dresses with different men. I trusted Chloe completely, but my parents had just met her. I couldn't let this ruin their first impression. Honey, my mom said to my dad, studying the photos with mock seriousness. My eyes aren't what they used to be. Do these pictures look a little off to you? Chloe's face doesn't seem to have changed at all. You're right, my dad said, pushing up his glasses and doing his best Sherlock Holmes impression. These photos supposedly span several years, yet she hasn't aged a day. Either Chloe has discovered the fountain of youth, or someone's been playing with Photoshop. Oh, and look at this, my mom said, pointing to the bottom of photo. A tiny watermark from some online photo editor. Victoria, dear, the website you used wasn't very professional. You should have paid to have a watermark removed. It was clear they hadn't doubted Chloe for a second. Victoria, my dad added, did you really think we were so out of touch that we wouldn't know what a deep fake is? Victoria's face went from red to purple. She never expected my parents to see through her pathetic little scheme. In the past, they had always gone along with her lies, no matter how ridiculous, just to keep the peace for my sake. But my parents were successful business people. They'd seen it all. They weren't fooled by her games. They had just been tolerating them for me. Since you claimed to have investigated me, Chloe said, finally speaking up. How is it that you don't even know what I do for a living? You're a lawyer. You said so yourself. Knowing the law makes me a lawyer. That's some strange logic. Does being able to talk make every animal a person? Chloe shot back. What's that supposed to mean? Victoria's veins bulged in her neck. She looked like she was about to lunge at Chloe. I'm a police officer, Chloe said calmly, pulling out her badge. You can Google the penalty for slander and defamation of a law enforcement officer. Victoria was stunned. She hadn't actually investigated Chloe at all. She just cooked up some fake photos to try and fool my parents. She never counted on being so sharp or Chloe being such a formidable opponent. Leo, she pleaded, turning to me with her signature pout. I was just worried about you. Say something. This was her old trick. When she acted soft, I was supposed to back down. Now it just made my stomach turn. Get out, I said, my voice shaking with barely suppressed rage. Decades of good breeding told me not to curse, not to get violent. Get out of my house and never come near me or my family again. Victoria grabbed her bag, her face a mask of bitter defeat. I'll be back, she snarled. Leo, you belong to me. Wait, Chloe said suddenly. That financial gift Leo's parents gave you for the wedding, she said, her eyes narrowed. You never returned it, did you? It was true. Victoria had taken the money my parents gave us for a down payment on a house and used it to fund her cross-country trip with Julian. When she came back, she never mentioned it, and I'd been too heartbroken to even think about it. In this state, Chloe continued, her voice like ice. A significant financial gift, given in contemplation of marriage, must be returned if the marriage does not take place. She was right. She ran out. On the wedding. She had no right to that money. My family wasn't hurting for cash, but I was done being her fool. Leo, I was with you for 10 years, and now you want the money back. What kind of man are you? Victoria screeched, turning her fury back on me now that she knew she couldn't outsmart Chloe. I spent a fortune on you over those 10 years, and you know it. That was my money, and I'm letting it go. Put that down. Payment was my parents' money. You chose to run away, so you don't get to keep it. You can't have it both ways. With Chloe by my side, I felt my own voice grow stronger, my mind clearer. My life is so hard. Victoria started to wail, looking like she was about to collapse onto the floor in a full-blown tantrum. Don't even start. My dad's voice boomed. He was usually a quiet man, but when he spoke, he commanded attention. Never show your face to this family again, he said, his voice low and dangerous. We'll consider that money the price of a lesson my son learned about character, but if you push your luck, we will hire the best lawyer in this city to get it back. It may not be a fortune to us, but I have a feeling you can afford to pay it back. My dad was amazing. Why hadn't I thought of that? I let her torment me for 2 years. Victoria tucked her tail between her legs and fled, but not before shooting Chloe and me one last venomous glare. Chloe met her gaze with an unyielding stare that sent her scurrying away. My girlfriend was a total badass. What did I just call my girlfriend? It felt so natural. She hadn't officially agreed to anything, but from the way she was looking at me, I had a pretty good feeling. The city fireworks show was next week. Maybe I should ask her to go. Officer Miller, there's a big fireworks show downtown tonight. I was wondering if you would do me the honor of accompanying me. I said into the phone, a cheesy grin plaster on my face. There was a slight pause on the other end before she agreed. My heart sank a little. We were in that weird space more than friends, but not quite a couple. If she had said yes enthusiastically, it would mean she was into me. But she hesitated. Did that mean? I try not to overthink it. That night, I picked her up from the station. She looked a little tired, but she still gave me a warm smile. When we got to the park, it was already packed. Let's sit on the roof of the car, I suggested. It's the best view in the house. She agreed. I wanted to lift her up, but I was worried it would be too forward. While I was hesitating, she effortlessly climbed up onto the roof herself, though her movements seemed a little stiff. Before I could think more about it, the clock struck midnight. The sky exploded in color. It was breathtaking lighting up my eyes and reigniting a heart that had been quiet for far too long. Wave after wave of fireworks painted the sky. Then a special display began, one I had arranged. Chloe watched, her eyes wide, as the fireworks spelled out a message. Will you be my girlfriend? Chloe. She turned to look at me, and I was already looking at her, my heart in my eyes. This was it. This was the perfect, romantic moment. I was supposed to say something profound. Instead, my foot slipped. I tumbled off the roof of the car. In a panic, Chloe reached out to grab me, and in doing so, I pulled her down with me, turning her into my unfortunate crash pad. I rushed her to the hospital. After an examination, I learned the truth. She had been injured on the duty a few days prior. She came to see the fireworks with me anyway, which was why she was so easily pulled off the roof. Otherwise, Tenium wouldn't have been a match for her. Honestly, Chloe, you're already hurt. Why are you going to watch fireworks with Leo? Her mom scolded her gently at the hospital. Well, you're the one who's always telling me to find a boyfriend and get married. Chloe mumbled in response. If you like him, just say you like him. Don't blame it on me, her mom teased. I heard he proposed to you with fireworks. How did you know that? Chloe asked, shocked. The fireworks were huge. The whole city saw them. I'm not blind. So what's your answer? I was hiding behind the door, eavesdropping. I desperately wanted to hear her answer, so I pressed my ear against the wood. I leaned a little too far and tumbled right into the room, startling her mom. You stood outside that door for 10 minutes, and you still didn't hear anything. How's that feel? Chloe laughed at me mercilessly. She knew I was out there the whole time. Of course she did. She was a SWAT officer at that point. Calling her my girlfriend in my head felt completely natural. In the days that followed, I spent all my free time in her hospital wing. My colleagues in her unit would tease me whenever they saw me. Dr. Carter, visiting your girlfriend again. What treats did you bring your girlfriend today, Doc? That was the only downside of working at the same hospital. Everyone knew your business. My mom cooked up a storm for Chloe every day, and I would deliver the meals to her room. Chloe's parents would watch me with these knowing, happy smiles. I guess it was true what they say. A mother-in-law always loves her future son-in-law. One afternoon I was with a patient when one of my friends, a doctor in Chloe's unit, slipped into my office. He looked nervous. Leo, he whispered, I just saw your ex-girlfriend walk into Chloe's room. You might want to get over there. He had been at my wedding. He knew how awful Victoria was. I took off like a sprinter, my heart pounding in my chest. Chloe, please, you have it. Trust me. The moment Victoria stepped into the hospital room, she dropped to her knees in front of Chloe. Chloe, I'm so sorry, she said, tears and snot running down her beautiful face. It was wrong of me to frame you with those photos. I'm here to apologize. You're putting on quite a show, Chloe said, her professional skepticism kicking in. I doubt this is just about an apology. I really do love Leo, Victoria sobbed. I was a fool back then. My best friend convinced me to run away. It was a terrible mistake. If I remember correctly, your best friend is a man, right? Chloe asked dryly. His gender isn't important. Oh, I think it is, Chloe said, her voice sharp. Especially since you two were sharing a hotel room during your little cross-country adventure. How did you know that? I didn't, Chloe said with a small smile. I was just guessing. Thanks for confirming. Victoria had never been beaten in a war of words. But with Chloe, she was completely outmatched. It was like a force of nature. Even if Julian and I stayed in the same room, that's all in the past. I know I was wrong. I want to win Leo back. Please have some pity on me. It's not in the past. You two shared a hotel room right after you got out of jail. Chloe stated flatly, "Are you using your position to investigate me?" Nope. Guessing again. It's a common interrogation technique. And look at that. You confessed again. Listening from the doorway, I wanted to give Chloe a standing ovation. I also made a mental note to never lie to her. It would not end well for me. So don't stand there and play the heartbroken lover. Chloe continued, her voice cold and clinical. You ran away, realized you couldn't survive without money, and came back to Leo. Not because you love him, but because he's the only one who would tolerate your nonsense. You and Julian worked together to sabotage Leo's dates, to force him to take you back because you see him as nothing more than an ATM. It was me who ruined his dates. Julian had nothing to do with it. Do you really want to keep lying to me? Chloe's stare was like a laser beam. Victoria fell silent. You and Julian are drowning in online loan debt. Your credit is about to be trashed. So you got desperate. The GPS tracker. Who bought it? Who installed it? It would take me 5 minutes to find out. I knew something was off. Back at the police station, but Leo didn't want to press the issue, and you confessed, so I let it go. But if you ever show your face in front of me or Leo again, if you try to interfere in our lives in any way, I won't hesitate to leak your boyfriend's information to his loan sharks. Victoria was speechless with rage, but she was too afraid to provoke Chloe further. You. What? If I were you, I'd be looking for a hole to crawl into. Now get your pathetic self out of here before I throw you out. A punk like you. I could take on 8 of you at once. You're so aggressive. No wonder you can't find a man. Leo's just curious about you now. Once the novelty wears off, he'll get tired of you. You shut your mouth. I burst into the room, unable to listen to her insult Chloe for another second. My girlfriend is the kindest, gentlest person I know. Who's your girlfriend? So shameless, Chloe muttered, her cheeks turning a bright pink. She looked less like a hardened officer and more like a bashful girl. Whoever answers is my girlfriend. I shot back with a grin. You have such a thick skin. A man's got to do what a man's got to do to win over his girl. We had completely forgotten Victoria was even in the room, lost in our own flirty banter. She opened her mouth to say something else, but one withering look from Chloe sent her scurrying. Get out, Chloe said, her voice low. Don't make me say it again. She was so incredibly cool. I want to have her babies. On our wedding day, the efficient, trying to liven things up. Ask me a playful question. Now, Leo, be honest. If you and Chloe ever got into a real fight, what do you think your odds of winning would be? Oh, I'd say about 3 to 7, I answered with a straight face. Really? Your odds are that high? He asked, surprised. No, I clarified. She'd make me cry 7 times in 3 minutes. The room erupted in laughter. Chloe playfully punched my arm. From the crowd, someone yelled, kiss her, kiss her. And so I did. I kissed my wife, my partner, my everything. This time, there was no runaway bride. There was only us two, people who had finally found their way to each